Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 466. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today we've got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, hello.
This week on the show, we'll be reviewing Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans, which is playing in theaters right now. We'll also be going over some of what we've been watching on the watch list and this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Please remember to review us on iTunes if you get a moment. That'd be great. We're going to be recording Saved by the 90s this week. We're going to be coming at you with another made-for-TV Christmas with four more made-for-TV Christmas movies. And I got to tell you, I watched them all very recently, and this batch may be the most ridiculous batch we've done yet. So this is our fourth year doing a made-for-TV Christmas. And every year, I'm just so excited to dive into these absolutely ridiculous movies. And I'll say, this year, one movie features Travis Tritt,
Yes.
and another movie features Randy Travis.
Yes.
Travis Tritt, Randy Travis. And the
Randy Travis Tritt.
And the movies are called... one is called A Holiday to Remember, and the other one is called... It's like A Holiday for Romance or something like that. It's like they're almost the exact same title.
Do you think they're beefing with Christmas movies? Could you imagine that? Randy Travis and Travis Tritt doing like diss tracks, but instead of like songs, it's through Christmas movies.
I like that idea. After seeing both of these movies, I don't know who would win. Who could be declared the winner, because Randy Travis in his movie, he was like the lead. He was the love interest.
Oh, okay.
So he was like a pretty major player.
Yeah.
But then Travis Tritt in his movie, he was like more of a minor character. His character actually gets kind of screwed over in it, but he's kind of a better actor than Randy Travis. So I don't know. I don't know who would win.
Wow.
All I know is we all lost. I don't know who won, but I can tell you we all lost with those two movies.
I bet. I definitely bet.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. I'll be announcing when that drops shortly. Maybe next week I'll have a better idea. Let's go ahead and get into The Fabelmans. As I mentioned, this is written and directed by Steven Spielberg. I have a synopsis here. Growing up in post-World War II era Arizona, young Sammy Fabelman aspires to become a filmmaker as he reaches adolescence, but soon discovers a shattering family secret and explores how the power of films can help him see the truth. Kevin, we'll start it with you. What were your initial impressions of The Fabelmans?
I keep wanting to call it Meet the Fabelmans.
It is kind of weird. It is weird. It does feel natural to say Meet the Fabelmans.
I don't know why that is, but
that's
the main thing that I have to keep myself from doing. Man, I've been kind of off of Spielberg for quite some time now. Like, I love Jaws, and that's about it. Like, none of his other movies have really stuck with me, and a lot of them, especially lately, what he's been doing, I just do not like at all, to be honest. So this was I found this one to be an interesting watch because, it's essentially him trying to do kind of like a coming of age autobiographical type thing. And I'm just not that interested in that. So it was a kind of a difficult watch. I think there is parts of it that I enjoyed, parts of it that I liked, and a lot of it was just like, I don't need it necessarily. And a lot of it was just that kind of a self-aggrandizing, like mythologizing. Like, this kid is just the greatest filmmaker from day one. Fucking 7 years old, perfectly edited film.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just, that kind of thing where it's just like, all right, okay.
Come on, Steve.
Yeah. I don't know. It just kind of seems like one of those things that we don't really need.
Well, here's the thing, and I agree, I completely agree with your sentiment. I was not very enamored with this movie, and at the end of the day, I after it was over, I thought to myself, you know what? Like Steven Spielberg's biography or autobiography, it's just not that interesting. Like, sorry, his life was just kind of normal. Like, he didn't have any kind of like craziness happening with his life. And I think that as a result, it leaves me feeling like I'm a little bit, okay, like a little bit lackluster on this story because there wasn't really anything exciting about it. It was just a very plain coming of age story. Like he had a pretty good life growing up. And like the conflicts, as it were, you know, they're just not that great. Like, and I get it. Like this was his life. You know, you don't want to like go nuts and like fabricate all kinds of crazy stuff, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's just about a kid growing up, and he likes movies, and he makes movies, and he gets bullied in school, and his parents have a difficult marriage, and it's like, okay, there's just nothing notable about that.
It's not that distinct from a lot of other people's upbringing, I would think.
And
I don't know. And for me, it's always like, I don't know. There's always that part of me with the like parents divorce thing. Like, I just don't get that. Like, I guess can be like a traumatic thing, but having never experienced it, I just don't understand the obsession, like the deep fascination with that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big thing in the 90s, man. Like,
it's just, and I never understood it because I thought like divorce was just like the normal thing. So I'm just like, I don't understand the big deal. This is a good thing. Your parents are breaking up. Good. That's what's supposed to happen.
Good.
It's better this way. Trust me. It's awesome.
Get 2 Christmases now, or I guess Hanukkahs.
Yeah.
In this case.
And they become like business partners. It's awesome.
I found Michelle Williams to be a little annoying in this. I understand it's the character. She's a very kind of manic person in this, and she's just very high energy, but she got on my nerves. It's not to say that I didn't think she did a great job and have a really good performance. It's more the character. The character annoyed me.
She did a great job in terms of what he was going for. I just don't think that we necessarily enjoyed what he was going for.
Yeah. Same with Paul Dano. I think Paul Dano did a really good job too. It's just, and there were elements of this that I did like. There were certain scenes and certain like specific camera shots and stuff. He did like a lot of the kind of, he did a lot of panning in this, which I don't really remember him doing a lot of in a lot of his other movies, but a lot of the pans that he does, I think looked really good in this. And obviously anything that takes place in a movie theater, I think that he really seemed to want to show off the movie theater experience as being something like kind of magical. So all of those scenes are like really framed meticulously and look really good. And yeah, there were like specific elements that I enjoyed.
There's something about his approach. Yeah, I'm kind of the same thing. There's certain things to his approach that I just find kind of like, ugh. Like when Paul Dano's taking him to the movies for the first time, and he's like literally going through like how movies work. It's just like, yeah, okay, we're gonna have a quick rundown of how.
That was like the first scene of the movie too.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, Jesus Christ, come on. But I did enjoy certain, like the most interesting aspect that I had of it was him making when he was editing the camping trip.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was when he was editing the camping trip, and he kind of saw like, you know, his real mom for like the first time, and it was kind of like, instead of making like purely entertainment action type, he was kind of coming to the realization of like what film can be capable of. And I found that interesting. But then a lot of it too is just like, especially towards the end, it just feels like he kind of ran out of stuff. And it's just kind of like anecdotes like, hey, I met John Ford once.
That was the best scene in
Here
the
you
whole
go.
movie, though. So,
Yeah, but it was also a
In my
really
opinion.
stupid fucking scene.
in my opinion,
It's just like, okay, I don't know. Great.
I guess that's what. I mean, honestly, like I will admit that I don't know the 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 biography of Steven Spielberg. Like I'm not sure how he got his start. I thought he went to film school with like Coppola and all those guys. I thought he was like one of the early film school people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like he
And the
went like
interesting
like
thing,
him and Lucas and Coppola and
the thing is I've never wanted to know. But I like him. Like I do like him, but
I mean
I'm not enamored with him like a lot of people are.
I think he's a great director who's had a very successful career. By the way, David Lynch plays John Ford. I just want to get that out there, and it was
That's
was
that's the
awesome.
only reason that you enjoyed it. If it was someone else playing John Ford, you would be like, "This
Absolutely
is a
no,
stupid fucking scene."
yeah, of course, with the but hearing David Lynch as John Ford talk about like the horizon line, I loved it. Like
Yeah,
I thought that was great. But yeah, getting back to Spielberg, obviously he's made some absolute classics. He's a prolific director. He's made some incredible, game-changing films over the years. But I think that his recent output, maybe even over like the last 10 years, has been not incredible. Just is like just kind of average.
He- I mean, even when he's at his best, in my eyes, he's just really good at making a technically accomplished, entertaining film with some pretty enjoyable technical aspects to it. But to me, and I think this movie, The Fabelmans, I kind of solidified it for me, is like he has no interest in art outside making these little films that he makes. And then even when he's asked to like describe like the paintings with the John Ford, like his approach is just like there's two people and
Yeah, it's
there's a
like
horse.
yeah,
And it's just like, yeah, dude, like all you know is entertainment.
exactly. I mean that is Spielberg. Like he is good at making popcorn movies. Like he's like he's one of the people who defined the summer blockbuster.
Oh yeah. So I think that's part of the issue with the Fablemans is that this kind of comes off of it's just, that saccharine sentimentality just a bit too much
I
for
was,
me.
it's funny because like I'm kind of a sucker for movies about movies, and I know that like critics typically eat that shit up, but for some reason this one, even though it is a love letter to cinema in a lot of ways, it really didn't grab me like a lot of other films that are sort of love letters to the cinema. Like Matinee,
Yeah.
like Joe Dante's amazing Matinee.
But it's also kind of interesting because does it truly feel like a love letter to cinema? Because really, it's just like him as a little kid being like super into the train crash, and he wants the train to crash. But like, no, I don't really feel like throughout the Fablemans, I really get this sense of like he has to create, like he has to. There's something that like he has to make something, and he's searching for something. He's just kind of like, okay, I'm making a camping movie for my mom. Okay, I'm making this, it's kind of like a jobber mentality where he's like, okay, I'm making this ditch day for the school.
I mean, a
I
lot
like
of the
this. It's kind of
things.
fun.
I think it's because like a lot of the stuff in here just feels very surface level. Like part of it is this is Sammy, discovering film and learning how to make movies and edit and stuff like that. And then the other part is like this family drama where it's like mostly about his parents, and like the turmoil that comes with like his dad going to different jobs and stuff like that. But I feel like it doesn't really dive too deeply into anything because it just tries to cover so much ground. And it's also very long too. It's a lengthy movie.
Yeah. But even then, with it being as lengthy as it is, I think it's what after the ditch day, like prom movie that he shows, it just feels really rushed after that.
Yeah, and like the whole interaction with like the one bully and
Yeah, and then even again the John Ford thing, just it's like the movie's over and he's like, oh yeah, but I met John Ford once. Let me throw that in.
I don't know, man. Like I feel like it's just too. It tries to tell this like huge story, this big coming of age story, but I feel like it's a little too scattershot to really, at least for me, have any kind of like emotional resonance. Like it was entertaining, it was fine, but it didn't make me like want to cry. It didn't make me want to like fall in love with the movies all over again or anything like that. Like it just wasn't what I had kind of hoped it would be.
Yeah, and surprisingly, it didn't even. I even like doing this, and at the end of it, I wasn't even thinking to myself like, "Man, I gotta check out some more Spielbergs." I was just kind of like, "Yeah, I think I saw the ones that I wanted to see."
Well,
but interestingly enough, the flip side of that is I found this to be much better than a lot of his recent output that I saw. Between like a war, what else? The Post, Jesus Christ.
I was trying to remember like how I felt about the Post, but I honestly don't even remember how I felt about that.
Like straight trash. Yeah. So interestingly enough, it's pretty good for what he's been doing lately.
Yeah.
I forgot. Did he direct Big Fucking Guy?
Yeah.
He did Big Fucking Guy?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here. Wow.
I didn't see that movie, so
unbelievable.
I remember the Warhorse and Lincoln days. Those were rough.
Yep.
And we can't forget Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Is that a good one?
No.
People enjoy that?
Come on.
People didn't enjoy that?
Yeah. I think that there. What I think one of the things that made Spielberg so great was like the level of like cozy, like kind of family oriented storytelling that he did. I mean, obviously when we talk about like Amblin style films, like he's the one who, kind of created that with, E.T. and even Jaws has that vibe, and Close Encounters, of course, like his early movies, like he just lost that style, I think, because his newer movies are just so much glossier, and like he's like trying to tell these like really big narratives, like these big stories that I don't know that he needs to tell them.
Yeah, for me, this is just not for me. It's just not, I guess, not a big enough of a Spielberg fan.
I didn't think the dialogue was very good either. Like, I thought that a lot of the dialogue was really just hammy, just cheesing it up.
Cheese. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of cheese in this.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were loving this movie. Like, when I marked it on Letterboxd, I saw that it had like, what is it, like a 4.7 average or something?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Oh, sorry, 4.2. So people, most people are just loving it, but I'm just not. I don't know. Like, it was fine. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but it just Yeah, it didn't really touch me. No. All right, let's go ahead and give it a score. Kevin, what are you gonna give it the Fabelmans out of 10?
Out of 10 for the Fablemans, like a 5, maybe. Yeah, 5.
I'm sitting at a 5.5 on this one. Just really just didn't quite do it for me. I was hoping for more. I like family dramas like this. I like movies about movies. It took place in the 50s and 60s. I mean, everything was like kind of checking the boxes for me, but it just didn't end up being something that really grabbed me.
Yeah, and it's also not bad, but it's just one of those frustrating, like, it's fine.
I mean,
it's
at the end of the day, it's just
fine
like
experience to be had, but afterwards you're just like, I didn't necessarily need that.
Nope. Turns out Steven Spielberg had just a regular old upbringing, just like everybody else or most other people. All right, let's move on and talk about some of what we've been watching. I only have one thing to mention because I was traveling. I was traveling this week, and I was trying to also watch my Christmas movies for Saved by the 90s. But I did have a chance to squeeze in Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This was a long one, too, which surprised me. It's like 2 hours long. And normally animated, especially stop-motion animated films, are typically on the shorter side. So that was
kind of rude.
That was kind of a surprise. This movie's good. If we've talked about Pinocchio a couple times in the last several weeks on the show. I don't particularly like the Pinocchio story. This is a very sort of by the book Pinocchio story, so you kind of know exactly what's going to happen in it. The thing that I think is a reason to check this movie out is the animation, which is incredible. Maybe some of the best stop motion animation I've ever seen. Like multiple times as I'm watching it, I'm just like thinking to myself, how did they possibly animate this? Like the movement is so fluid and there's so much like articulation and it's incredible. Like the level of skill that's on display here with the models, the movements, everything. It just looks incredible. The set design, like it's all just absolutely top-notch stuff. All of the creature design too looks, it's very, very much within that Del Toro style. And it's great. Loved all that. The second reason to watch it is Ewan McGregor as Jiminy Cricket, because it's an incredible character and he's funny. He's witty. He knows exactly what to say. And Ewan McGregor does such an amazing job in this role. He is definitely the star of the show here. Like the way that they designed him, it's just so adorable and he's funny. It's almost, I would say it's almost worth it just to experience Jiminy Cricket because he's so good in this. Everything else is just kind of fine. I found Pinocchio to be really annoying. Like his energy level is just through the roof. Like this kid is he's going nuts, man. He's got way too much energy. They need to like give him some Ritalin or something, calm him down a bit. But yeah, other than that, it's fine. Like I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's kind of depressing. Like the end is pretty depressing, I will say. But yeah, it's I guess a light recommend from me. It's on Netflix, so you can check it out on there.
A quick question for you though. When you were traveling, were you trying to watch your made-for-TV movies, your Christmas movies, like while you were traveling?
Yes.
So there was people that might have seen you on a plane watching a Travis Tritt
yes
Christmas movie.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that.
The short answer is yes, I did watch them on airplanes and in airports and in hotels.
Did airports and airplanes help them in any way, or did it make it worse? I would imagine it made it worse.
It's hard to say. I would say like maybe the same, maybe a little bit worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm imagining someone getting home and like either going to their significant other or their friend or something. You're gonna be like, the weirdest thing. I was on this plane and the guy beside me loads up a movie and it's a fucking trip made for TV Christmas movie from like the 90s. That's what he watched on the plane.
Yep.
Unbelievable. just, just, I just love it. I love the idea of it. Absolutely incredible. I only watched I watched two things. One of them being the traditional rewatch of Scrooge from 1901 with Alistair Sim, which still awesome, still good stuff. The only other thing that I watched is a Turkish movie called Time to Love from 1965, directed by Metin Erksan. This is Mubi's first ever restoration project. Okay. So Mubi getting into the restoration game, and they picked a hell of a movie. Like this is pretty damn good. It's also kind of absurd because it's in a lot of ways it's like a romantic comedy, but it's also like very very artistically shot. Just absolutely gorgeous. But the premise of this movie is there's this guy named Halil. He's a decorator. He's like a house painter. He does all sorts of stuff, and he's on the Prince's Islands. South of Istanbul. So it's like these villas for rich people. And for most of the time, they're not there. And then they come, vacation in the summertime or whatever. So him and his older gentleman that he's buddies with, their job is to, spruce these places up for when the rich people finally come. So last year, he worked at a house and he essentially became infatuated with a photograph of the young woman that lives at the villa, or that, vacations there. She has a giant portrait above her fireplace, and he's just in love with the picture. He goes every single day, he like breaks into their house, and he just smokes cigarettes, listens to music, and just stares at the picture, right? So it's autumn, no one's ever coming out, but her and her girlfriends kind of make like a surprise visit. She comes into the house, boom, there he is sitting in a chair staring at the painting. She's like, what the hell? And, not confrontational or anything at all. He's just like, I'm going to leave. I don't do anything. I just come here, look at the photograph. She's like, that's fine. Just please don't do it anymore. He's like, okay, I won't do it. But instead of being like kind of creeped out by the whole thing, she's like, man, this guy must really love me. Like he's coming to check out this painting every day. So she starts trying to court him. And he's like, no, thank you. I like your picture. I have no interest in you whatsoever. And she's just like, we should love each other. He's like, absolutely the fuck not. I love your picture. Get away from me. I want nothing to do with you. Which is just like, and that's the whole concept of the film. It's just her trying to get him. And he's like, nope. I like the picture. I don't like you. And then finally she gives him the picture and he's like, yes, this is the perfect world for me. Because now I can just have it all the time. And she's like heartbroken. And then they get together for like a little bit. And it's just, just the premise of this is not at all what I was expecting from a Turkish movie from 1965. Especially like the way that it's shot. It's just incredible looking. And they're like, that's the entire premise. It's just hilarious to me that she keeps trying, which is kind of weird, right? From the off, like, she's desperately trying to get this guy, and she's even like seeing someone at the time, and he's just like, fuck off, I like your picture, not you. God, what don't you get?
It's such a weird premise. I love it.
And then he, like, at one point, because she gives him the picture, and he just like goes out on like a boat, like on the lake with a rowboat, and it's just him in the picture. But it's never played as like a comedy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting. I definitely recommend it. It's a very interesting movie.
Well, definitely interested in that. Time to Love from 1965. All right, let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. We have Avatar: The Way of the Water. Mm-hmm. That's really the only one and the biggest one. This looks horrible. I'm sorry. It just
Truly
doesn't
does.
look good at all. Like, I saw the trailer, and there's just nothing appealing about that movie to me.
Mm-mm.
Like the effects work doesn't look that incredible. I never liked the creature design in that movie to begin with. I don't get it. Like, I think James Cameron's a good director, and I would just love him to do something else other than Avatar. Because I feel like this is how he's going to end his career. Like,
Yeah.
this is it for him, you know? Because he's
Feel that way. And I think that the thing that gets me now is just uh, like it's too much. It's too much CG. Like it's just all CG. Like I saw one trailer yesterday, and it's just nonstop CG, and it's just I don't want this. Is too much. I don't need that.
yeah. I mean, it's an animated film, really. Like, a lot of them, you can say that there's too much CG in like Marvel movies and stuff, but this one is like, I mean, the last one too. The last one was like 90% CG. So I don't know. I just don't find the story to be very compelling either.
Yeah, thanks.
On VOD this week, starting on the 13th, we have Dragon Eats Eagle. Dragon Eats Eagle. 2 low-level but immortal government workers follow orders from their absurd superiors that will determine the fate of their country in a film nobody would make but everyone wants to see. What?
Okay.
Excuse me? Interesting. All right.
What's that called again?
Dragon Eats Eagle.
Dragon Eats Eagle.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say, I'm a little bit intrigued by that synopsis.
It, but it looks really bad.
Yeah. Well, I
It's on
see.
Tubi. It's on Tubi right now.
Oh, is it? Eh,
Is that a Tubi original?
maybe.
Hold up, I'm gonna start watching it on Tubi. You can continue.
We also have Boy Scouts Honor on the 13th. That's a documentary about the corruption and abuse within the Boy Scouts. On the 16th, we have The Apology. And let's see. As Good as Dead. Action movie with Corbin Burnson.
You say Corbin.
Not Corbin Burnson. Sorry. Tom Berenger. It's, Major League. A Major League link there.
Like that you got to mix those two up.
Yeah, they kind of look the same in this poster.
There's a very specific demographic that would mix them up. Very small demographic.
Lullaby. Let's see. What is Lullaby about? It's a film follows a new mother who discovers a lullaby in an ancient book and soon regards the song as a blessing. But her world transforms into a nightmare when the lullaby brings forth an ancient demon, Lilith.
Oh God.
Yeah. Nanny's going to be on Amazon Prime. We got Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths. This is going to be on Netflix. This is the one from what's his name? God damn it.
I know. It's the guy.
Inarritu? Is that who did it?
There you go. Yeah, you got it.
I don't know. What do you think about this one?
I'll probably check it out. I mean, it's on Netflix. So.
It's an epic, visually stunning, and an immersive experience set against the intimate and moving journey of Silverio, a renowned Mexican journalist and documentary filmmaker living in Los Angeles, who, after being named the recipient of a prestigious international award, is compelled to return to his native country, unaware that the simple trip will push him to an existential limit. How's that for a sentence?
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. Also on Netflix, we have The Volcano, Rescue from Wakari. We have High Heat with Don Johnson. That's a Saban Films release. And then is so the 16th is Friday. All right, so that's it. Blu-ray. We got Highlander coming out in 4K. That's the 1986 one. Carrie is getting a 4K release, the original 1976 version. The Vestron Collector Series is putting out a Silent Night, Deadly Night collection, which is contains parts 3, 4, and 5. Coraline coming out in 4K. I've been meaning to rewatch Coraline. I was such a big fan of that. Looks like Paranorman is also coming out in 4K.
Yeah.
Ghost Watch from 1992 is coming out on a limited collector's edition. That was a really interesting one. I'd recommend checking out Ghost Watch. I think that's on Shudder. Creature from the Black Lake from 1976. Spider from 2002. I think that's a Cronenberg, if I remember correctly.
Spider.
My Best Friend's Wedding coming out in 4K. Silent Running from 1972.
Hell yeah.
Arrow is putting that out in 4K. The Woman King from earlier this year. Double Target from 1987.
Oh, no.
Cop Game from 1988. And Born to Fight from 1989. Man, there looks like a lot of... This has to be some kind of like series that's... Severin Films is putting this out.
You have to look up Cop Game on Letterboxd. That poster alone, goddamn, watch list. Boom.
Oh, there's no synopsis on here.
You want to hear the Cop Game synopsis?
Yeah.
We're talking about 1988 Cop Game. Right?
Yeah.
Bruno Mattei.
Mm-hmm.
In the final days of the Vietnam War, someone is killing the officers of the elite Cobra Force. 2 undercover MPs are assigned to the case. The trail leads from the streets of Saigon to the war zone.
Well, that's going on my watch list as well. Maniac Driver from 2020. We got the Hallelujah Trail from 1986. Smile is coming out. Lyle Crocodile. Blood and Diamonds from 1977. Ticket to Paradise.
Oh yeah, Ticket to Paradise.
Yeah, Kevin's few theater watches from this year.
That's right, buddy.
Girl on a Motorcycle from 1968. A Fish in the Bathtub from 1998.
Shouldn't be there.
No, probably shouldn't. Boxcar Bertha from 1972. Walk Proud from 1979. The Roundup, which I would definitely recommend. It's a good one. Slashback, that's on Shudder as well, but I'd recommend Slashback too. That's a really solid creature feature. Medusa from last year. Piranha Women, that's from this year. The First Turn On from 1983, that's a Trauma film. Let's see what else. Nightmare Symphony from 2020. We'll say that's it. What about Criterion's?
We got 2. We got the Velvet Underground documentary from Todd Haynes from 2021 coming out. And then we got a box set, 3 films by Maya Zetterlund, the Swedish director. 3 films from the 60s.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice. When is Cooley High coming out soon? Because I see that on the list here.
Cooley High? Why'd you ask after I just closed it? I wasn't prepared.
It says December 13th. Maybe it already came out. Like maybe it's like some sort of...
Oh shit, that is December 13th. Yes. My fault. Cooley High as well.
Nice.
Michael Schultz movie from 1975. Man, they're stacked.
I've never
Usually they only come out with like one thing.
Yeah.
It's like a box set and 2 other ones. Jeez.
I've never seen Cooley High, but I've always wanted, like it's always been kind of on my list. So maybe I'll finally get around to this one.
Do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @filmpulse.net and @filmpulsekevin. And if you have a minute, consider reviewing us on iTunes. That'd be great. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.